Hello, I'm Jesse with American Radon Mitigation. We are here at the Radon Symposium in Washington, D.C., and I've got two of the Kansas State University radon trainers with me. We've got Bruce Snead and we've got Chad Robinson. Do you guys want to give us a little bit of introduction, maybe a little of your background?
Sure. I'm Bruce Snead, Director of Engineering Extension at Kansas State University. Since 2011, I've been there and involved in radon since 1988, doing radon measurement mitigation training, helping with outreach and technical assistance nationally for EPA, working with various state radon programs, and we also have a radon chamber that provides device performance testing and spiking services to the radon industry. And Jesse is a great example of an excellent mitigator who has taken our training, and we really appreciate the opportunity to share our thoughts about the training, and Jesse as well as part of this video.
Well, thank you, Bruce.
And I'm Chad Robinson, building performance company out of Salina, Kansas. Been working with Bruce, providing training for the past 7 or 8 years, and specifically the advanced diagnostics and optimal mitigation class that we're going to be talking about. I'm a mechanical engineer by schooling and been in the radon business for 11 years, and just always have been curious about how to do things the best way and better ways, and thinking outside the box. And that's where this class came from. And anyway, good to be back together again.
Yeah. So when I started out with radon mitigation, it was back in 2014. Didn't know anything, poke and hope, and I was the guy that was putting in the radon system, and I would do whatever I could just to reach that side of the house. So if that meant putting in a big fan and a high operating cost, and to me, I only thought about fan power consumption when I thought operating cost. So I was putting in that big fan that was 150 watts or more just to try to reach the other side of the basement. And I didn't really think much about it. I thought, hey, if you're putting in a radon system and you care about energy efficiency, like, what's the big deal? Let's just get the radon levels as low as possible. And energy efficiency isn't really for radon mitigation. But after taking the advanced diagnostics course, which you now call what?
Optimal mitigation.
We only got one mic, so, or two.
So the course is called Optimal Mitigation and Advanced Diagnostics, and it's a 16-hour, 2-day course with extensive hands-on diagnostic demonstration activities to enhance the performance capacity of radon mitigators.
Okay, thank you. So in taking that class, I realized we could have the best of both worlds. We could have energy efficiency and low radon reduction. And these guys have been instrumental, along with a lot of other guys like Josh Kerber, in teaching me that. And it's just been super helpful. So thank you guys. I've learned so much from you guys. And I've been in that class and helped teach it maybe 4 or 5 times now. And I learned so much every time I'm there. And you can't take it all in one course. I still want to learn more about friction loss, and I'm going to have to take it a few more times. So I can't say enough about how awesome that course is, and I'm very visual, a hands-on type person, and the course offers that. So I think it's awesome. So what specifically are you going to learn?
Okay. The goal of our course, as I said, over 2 days, is to enhance the performance capacity of mitigators in terms of their diagnostic capabilities. The ability to measure 4 key things that are fundamental to the most important decision in radon mitigation, which is, which fan do I use to fix this house? We want the fan to be the most effective at reducing radon and the most energy efficient in terms of its performance, as well as the quality of the installation that improves the energy efficiency overall long-term of the system. We believe that if you attend this course, you will learn things that you can use to market yourself, to save money for yourself and your clients in mitigation, and you will enhance your own credentials and make you more competitive, because if you take this course and learn these key things, you can really outperform your competition. And when houses become more challenging and difficult and you're called in, you can develop a reputation where you can fix houses that others have failed at. So one of our comments about the course is if you don't learn something that you think is worth the price of the course, we'll refund your money. Nobody's asked for any money back yet because I think we've met our goals of really enhancing your performance as a participant.
So fan selection, what else are we going to learn?
We're going to learn how to take pressure field measurements using a micromanometer. We're going to learn how to evaluate the resistance of pipes and the impact of that on fan selection. We're going to talk about impacts of weather and house operation on the radon mitigation system. And we're going to learn how to measure airflows, which is a fundamental component of diagnostics. You have to measure airflows and pressure differentials to establish the requirements for selecting a fan. And that's the heart of it.
So one other thing I'd like to ask Chad about is, so you taught me all about energy efficiency. There's the two parts of the operating cost. Do you want to talk maybe a little bit about that?
Yeah, so and one of the things we'll talk pretty extensively about in the class, as you know, is there's the cost of operating a fan that is part of the energy efficiency, and then there's the cost of added ventilation. So in some systems, we're not moving a lot of air, and that cost of added ventilation, or the air that's being drawn out of the house into the radon system and then exhausted outside, it's going to be made up from the outside air. We talk about how to calculate that energy loss, or the cost of that energy loss. And sometimes it's difficult to know how much of the air is being drawn out of the house. But if we're moving large amounts of air, especially in tight soils, as you know now, that cost of energy can be quite high. And you've even seen, and you've done the calculations on some of the systems that you've worked on, right?
Yeah, we did one just maybe a month ago, and we ran the numbers before and after.
Before and after air sealing?
Sealing, yeah.
Yeah.
So we would have had that RN4EC cranked up to 10 to reach the other side of the basement, to wiggle the other side of the basement. We spent 4 hours sealing in the mechanical room. It had that floor edging, that waffle board stuff. So we sealed what we could, and we were able to dial that fan way down. And we saved the customer $458 per year just by spending that 4 hours of sealing.
It's absolutely worth it to the customers, almost $500 a year that you save them in doing a few hours of sealing. And so that's the kind of thing that we're talking about in the class, and that we really want to try to get across is system design, not just throwing a fan on that might or might not work, right? Like, how do we put all of the components of a radon system together? There's the crack sealing, there's the identification of likely places that radon can come into the building. There's suction point design and size, digging the suction point. That's incredibly important. It's something we don't think about a lot.
And the placement of that suction point is huge.
Placement of the suction point. So some of those kind of things we can't really show in class, but we can talk about them. We have case studies about things like that. Also, we're going to, and one of the things that you said you want to learn more about is we talk about resistance in piping, and that's kind of a big thing for us as a mitigator, especially now that the price of pipe has gone up 3 times.
Yeah.
And if we can use 1 2-inch pipe to get to that crawl space on the other side of the house, it can save us quite a bit of money because from our design, we know that we only need to move 5 CFM out from underneath that membrane, right? And we can carry that in a 1 or 2-inch pipe, depending on the length of the pipe run, if we know how to calculate that. And those are the kind of things that we teach in class, is how can we do things differently to reach the places we need to reach, and to do it in a way that's efficient and cost effective for us, and still get the job done. And then also be cognizant of the total operating system cost to the final occupant. And I think those are the things that we try to kind of pull together. It's the things that we can't quite get to in the intro class, that we try to hammer on more and more over the 2-day period in that OMAD class.
Yeah. So a few of the things like the benefits, you always hear focus on the benefits. So for that mitigator that's watching this right now, can you talk about the benefits to them taking this course?
Yeah, okay, so we mentioned the pipe sizing, right? There's also fan sizing. So as a mitigator from central Kansas, you would think, and if you knew the geology of where I'm at, it's all very tight soils. And so when I got into the business, my understanding was you have to always use high pressure fans in clay type soils. And what we found is we put fans in to get pressure field extension. We don't care about the soil type. And so we put a fan in, and if it reaches halfway across the building, then we could put another suction point in and get us the other half of the way across the building. So that's a benefit to the mitigator in the sense that you might not be able to charge more for the higher pressure, more expensive fan, but you can charge more for that next suction point. So it's good for us. Or if we design the system correctly, we can just use less expensive fans. That's direct money in our pockets. Sizing pipe correctly, that's money directly into our pockets. Not having to go back on jobs makes us look more professional. That ultimately is more money in our pocket. It also gives us as a mitigator it gives us a lot of confidence for one thing, but it also makes us look a lot better in the eyes of our clients. And you mentioned something else earlier. I don't remember what was the other point.
Focus on the benefits.
Oh no.
So
anyway, go ahead.
Well, on the flip side of that, so that's a great benefit to the mitigator. But what about your customer?
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? So they're the ones that are bearing the burden of the cost of whatever you've done.
So,
and if that cost is that extra $480 a year, it's significant.
Yeah, that pays for the system over the course of 10 years.
Right.
So yeah, one other thing that I think is great with optimal mitigation is you're able to get that customer's level as low as possible. We shoot for below 1, and we're able to do it with energy efficiency too, which I didn't think was possible before taking your course several times. So
yeah, and we can sell that as a radon mitigation company. We can sell that to our clients, and I know you do. That hey, we're going to try to do this thing that is fixes your radon problem as well as anybody can fix it.
Yeah.
But also we're going to optimize the cost that you're going to bear for the rest of the life of your house. Not just it's not just the life of your radon fan, it's the life of your house that you've got an additional cost associated with it. And then also what we've found is that lower energy systems are also quieter systems. And we know that if we can install systems that are quieter, people are happier about that.
And I think one of the big points that we're missing here is if you get the post-mitigation level to 3.9, is that a win?
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah, I know you've talked about it before, so if you want to tell...
The difference between 3.9 and 4.0 is less than the error band of the testing equipment that we're using, no matter what kind of test it is. So we could technically have a test that is 4.0 and the radon level is really 3.1, or the other way around.
Well, and say they start at 10 and you get them down to 3.9, is that success in your eyes?
Yeah, no, we definitely like to see the radon levels. We always like to see radon levels at least below 2. I know you're going for below 1. We have a policy to get below 2, but regardless of that, we do know that the EPA says you should consider mitigation between 2 and 4. And so if you should still consider mitigation after you already have mitigation, we're a success.
Anything you want to add to that, Bruce?
Yeah, I think it's really important. If your pre-mitigation result is 4.3, are you going to guarantee to get below 4? Or guarantee to cut it in half at least. To me, those are the kinds of, and we had discussions and questions of the participants in the class to help draw out their experience so that we can better run the class and administer the class to serve the educational needs you have, the questions you have, the houses from heck that you tried to fix that have been a real challenge. And that's something else that the class will enable you to do. Not only design and install from the get-go an efficient system, but also troubleshoot systems and understand what you need to fix, measure, and address to fix a house or fix a system that is just not performing as well as you'd like.
All right. Well, any closing thoughts? Words of wisdom? Jokes?
No, we have, I would guarantee you have a good time in this class. It's always fun. We have gotten really good reviews that what we do during the class meets their needs, exceeds what we said we would do for them, and which is always good. I like to hear. And so we encourage you to consider attending. I don't think you'll have, I honestly can say that I think it's the best continuing education for a radon mitigator available here in the United States. It's NRPP approved for Category 1 credits, Illinois approved. We work with state radon programs to host this. So I'd encourage you, if you have the opportunity to attend, we'd love to have you.
Good. And we've got Josh you can mention too.
Yeah, and Josh would have some jokes right now if he was here.
Josh, maybe tell him who Josh is, since you've probably seen him in the course.
Yeah, Josh is from the Minnesota Department of Health. Probably one of the first guys that you ran into in working with folks in Minnesota when you started in your radon mitigation career, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay. But super sharp guy, has worked on a lot of trouble systems in the state of Minnesota, and is a really nice. It's a really nice benefit to having part of this class, and that's the other part of this class is that we have 3 trainers in the class at the same time, and we're going through different stations, and we break everybody up into small groups so that we can give some really good individual instruction.
Yeah.
And I think that's fairly important component of it, that we have the 3 trainers and the 3 different perspectives as well.
And one part I like is it's hands-on too. It's not just we're going to watch PowerPoint all day.
Right. We intentionally try to cut as much PowerPoint as we do have a little bit of PowerPoint, but we try to cut it as much as possible so that we can get manometers in your hands and actually, talk to you about the reference and the input port on the manometer and how to turn it on and off and make sure that you've got the tubing in the right port. And that's really kind of important, right?
Yeah.
If you're just starting out and you've never done diagnostics before.
We get them flipped around sometimes too, and it's like, why are we not reaching that corner? It's more positive, and then we finally, oh, duh.
And we've had people that have been in the business for 20 years. We've had people that have been in the business for 2 weeks or 2 months in this class. And so a wide range of experience, which helps. Diversity of backgrounds, people from the East Coast, West Coast, central areas, and always that diversity in attendees helps with experience and hearing about different conditions that people encounter in installing mitigation systems.
I think one of the things Josh always says that's kind of good is you've got 20 years of experience, you come into this class, and just let it go away, open your mind, and just think outside the box. Let us brainwash you for 2 days and see how you come out. Right?
Yep. Yeah, we've had folks that are literally poke and hopers, and they leave feeling much better about what they can do and what they should do to effectively reduce radon in the most energy efficient way. And that outcome for me is most rewarding because they've enhanced themselves, had a good time doing it, and they're going to be more profitable and a more effective radon mitigator. And that's what it's all about. It's improving the quality of radon mitigation so that we reduce risk for our client, your clients and customers.
That, to me, is what it's really all about. Energy efficiency is just icing on the cake. Let's get it as low as possible.
Absolutely.
There's no safe level, right? The lower the better.
Absolutely.
Yep.
right? No linear threshold. So that means risk is the same all the way to zero. Just linearly the same all the way to zero.
Well,
We're good.
Just to blow a little bit of smoke, the two best trainers in any of the trainers I've ever had are sitting right here. He can make a very dry topic like measurement, which makes me want to poke my eyes out. Very interesting and funny, and it's just his voice. He's able to pronounce whatever you call that to the back of the room. It makes it a very dry topic, very entertaining. All right.
Okay.
Well, guys, I can't thank you enough. If somebody wants to take this course, where do they go?
You can go to our website at radoncourses.com, and Kansas State University. We're have been a regional radon training center for over 30 years. And so go to our website and look for information there. We'll also have contact information there. You can join our email list. There's a link to go to submit that information. We send out marketing information about our courses on a weekly basis, and sometimes more frequently if there's opportunities. And so that's how this course would be shared and announced. In most cases, it would be on our website as continuing education.
And we'll put your contact info in the description as well.
Wonderful.
All right, well, I'm Jesse with American Radon Mitigation.
Bruce Snead as Director of Engineering Extension at K-State.
Chad Robinson, working with K-State, but building performance company.
Thanks so much for watching.
All right, that's a wrap.